Hello and welcome to the Daily Meal for Tuesday the 15th of February 2022. Today was a match day home to QPR, but before we get to that, we're going to talk about the news that broke this morning. Bad news, but not surprising because this seems to be happening time and time again to Millwall Football Club. And this is from newshopper.co.uk, but it's in other places as well. A new Millwall signing reportedly out for the rest of the season with an injury. Yes, you read that right. Another player out injured for the rest of the season for Millwall Football Club. The player signed, 2 weeks ago? Coming up to 3 weeks ago. During the transfer window, the winter transfer window. And he comes in, plays about 10 minutes and he's injured now. Amazing, isn't it? So Luke Freeman could miss the rest of the season after picking up a hamstring injury. The attacker only joined Millwall at the end of the January transfer window and has made one appearance for the club. The outing was as a second half substitute in a 3-0 defeat against Fulham. According to News at Den, Freeman, who joined on loan from Championship side Sheffield United, could be out for the remainder of the season. This will not be welcomed by manager Gary, who's already without attackers Tom Bradshaw and Shea Ojo. Star Jed Wallace is still getting back to speed after his own injury problems, and Benik Afobe also struggling with hamstring issues. This will put a lot of pressure on Ollie Burke and Mason Bennett to lead the Lions. Indeed. And so let's get into that. This is from newsatden.co.uk. And that's the least of my worries. Millwall boss, when asked about Sheffield United loanee's treatment plan. So basically confirming about Luke Freeman. But let's have a read of this. Gary has talked in more detail about Millwall's injury issues. Benik Afobe said to be missing again for the weekend's championship match at Blackburn Rovers. Sheffield United loanee Luke Freeman is facing a major battle to feature again this season after injuring his hamstring. And his Blades teammate Oliver Burke suffered the same injury and had to come off in tonight's 2-0 win over QPR. Yes, Oliver Burke injured in the game tonight. Afobe also sustained a hamstring problem in Saturday's 2-1 victory over Cardiff City in SC16. Asked if Freeman would do his rehab with Millwall or his parent club, Rowett replied, "That's the least of my concerns. The fact he is unavailable for a large part of the season is disappointing. Benik is better news. I think it's only a mild hamstring injury, so maybe a couple of weeks." Scotty Malone came off with cramp. You had a few at full tilt, Mason and Jed. Every time someone goes in for a challenge, I'm closing my eyes. If you think about Dan Ballard, Lenny, Bradshaw, Ojo, the list keeps going on. Jed was out for a long period of time. That's been a big factor in our season. Fair play to the players who put in a big performance like that tonight. When we were down to the bare bones, we were magnificent. I'm certainly a very proud manager this evening indeed. And moving on now to another injury story. Pretty much what we've just read. Millwall boss Garrett is hopeful that Benik Afobe will be available in 2 weeks as a striker. Has only suffered a mild hamstring injury, but so he comes back in 2 weeks. You throw him straight back in because he's the only recognised centre forward at the club. And then he gets another hamstring injury that's a lot worse. So when will he be back? Will it be for the Sheffield United game? Maybe that's a bit too soon. Maybe the game after that. Don't know. Who knows? So we got more quotes here from Garrett. Berkey not sure yet. He felt his hamstring. Scotty Malone came off, but I think it was just more cramp. You got a few there. Jed Wallace, yeah, we've read that. Yeah, pretty much we just read that. So let's get into the actual frigging game, man, because that was it. That was absolutely fantastic tonight. Yeah, here's the match report from newsatden.co.uk. Millwall secured back-to-back wins for just the third time this season as they comfortably dispatched Queen's Park Rangers at the Den. Mason Bennett gave Gary outside the lead in the second half before Tyler Berry netted his first Millwall goal as the Lions moved to within 6 points of the playoffs. Millwall should have been ahead inside of the first 30 seconds. Bennett's cross reached Danny McNamara on the back post, but he opted for full power and blasted his effort over the bar indeed. Yeah, literally 35 seconds in, one-on-one, Danny McNamara and the goalkeeper, and he uses the top of his foot, and it's just, he skies it over the bar. Like, oh my god, you could have been a hero, son. You could have been, that could have been it. 35 seconds into a game and you score. Yeah, it just didn't happen, did it? Didn't happen. The Lions almost made a breakthrough in the 23rd minute. Jed Wallace met Billy Mitchell's clever pass, a beautiful first-time curling effort which David Marshall, at full stretch, just about managed to push away. McNamara and Wallace both went close again before the visitors threatened. Stephen Johnson's corner fell to Sam Field. His shot took the slightest of deflections off Bennett and ended up in Bartosz Białkowski's arms. All that first half work paid off 4 minutes into the second period as the Lions opened the scoring with a wonderful crafted goal. Wallace's pinpoint cross found Scott Malone, and his first time ball fell perfectly to Bennett, who finished superbly past Marshall. Indeed. Now, Bury, introduced in the first half as a substitute for the injured Oliver Burke, went close, as did Malone. As Millwall looked to add to their lead, they finally did on 65 minutes. It was a very special moment for Bury. A highlight of Millwall's performance was the way the back three stepped out to deal with QPR advancing. This was another example. Sean Hutchinson fouled Wallace, whose nice flick paved the way for Bury to run towards goal and finish brilliantly. The visitors did threaten in the 73rd minute, Mikkel Keftenbeld having to head an effort off the line. Substitute Charlie Austin fired wide before Johan Barbet also faced an attempt off target, but Millwall comfortably sought out the victory. Takeaways: Burke Payne is Bury's gain. Millwall had already lost Benik Afobe in 1 January, signing Luke Freeman to hamstring injuries, with the latter possibly missing the rest of the season. It now looks like the other winter window arrival, Burke, could also be set for a spell on the sidelines with a hamstring problem. Millwall's luck on the injury front this season has been out, with Rowett so far this term unable to pick from a fully fit and available squad. You can't help but feel this has had a very big impact on what the Lions have been able to do in what has been a frustrating season in terms of results. However, one person's pain is another's gain. Burke's departure paved the way for Bury, a player that has been on the fringes for a while now. He came on in the 28th minute and couldn't have grasped his opportunity any more impressively. A first league start for Millwall is surely on the cards at Blackburn. Yeah, it was good to see Bury come on. It was good to see him score. One thing I would say, he doesn't like an aerial battle. He's noticeably backing out of them, shying away from them, bottling it, you could say. Not just once, but like 4 or 5 times. So, can you be doing that? I don't think you can be doing that. Not really. You need to, unless he's got a problem. Unless he's got a problem that he doesn't want to jump up in the air and then come down, because it might make his problem worse. So maybe he's playing with a knock. I don't know. But he doesn't normally be doing it. Maybe he picked up, maybe he did jump for the first one, and I think maybe he thought, oh, I shouldn't be doing this too much. But it was very noticeable that he was bottling out of aerials. So, but apart from that, yeah, he played very well. Bennett's purple patch continues. That goal against West Brom, his first in front of fans at the Den, has given Bennett a new lease of life. He's currently going through a real purple patch, and he netted in back-to-back games for the first time this season. He was a constant threat from the outset. That ball into McNamara inside the first 30 seconds was a signal of how he's going to be a problem for the QPR defence, and so it proved. Staying injury-free has been the main problem since his arrival in SC16. He has the chance now, with Afobe and Burke potentially out, to really cement his place in the side and ensure that he's someone Rowett will find hard to take out of the side. While Rowett did find it hard to take out of the side, because to be honest, yeah, the geezer looked gassed after about 60 minutes, and definitely, I noticed around the 72nd minute, he definitely should have been coming off. I think after I was thinking that, he had a Jed Wallace put a ball over the top for him that he run onto. He ran about 30 yards. Well, maybe not that much. 30 yards towards the goal. And by the time he got there, he didn't have enough power and puff to put out a really powerful shot. He did shoot, but it was easily saved by the goalkeeper. But you could tell then he was out of it. And then I don't think Gary Wright didn't replace him until like the 88th minute, and that was for George Saville. So obviously he didn't want to bring Zach Lovelace on because Zach Lovelace was on the bench. He probably could have played McConaughey up there. I don't know. It might have been an option. But yeah, he didn't seem to want to do that. But so now he's gonna flog Mason Bennett into the ground because he's the only the only recognised centre forward we have in the club. Benik Afobe is now injured. So now the replacement Mason Bennett is going to play nearly. He's got to play all the time, so he's going to get injured now. Well, we certainly don't hope that doesn't happen. But Garrett's not helping things when we're 2-0 up, and Bennett is showing signs of being very fatigued, and he's not replacing him until there's 2 minutes until full time. Back-to-back wins are the playoffs back on? Hell no. It was all doom and gloom after a poor start to 2022, but the Lions have picked up in recent matches and are also finding the net. It was the third time in the last 4 home games that they have scored 2 goals. The challenge is, of course, to repeat this form away from home, something that's been a struggle. If they can do that, then the top 6 challenge is very much alive. This victory leaves the Londoners 6 points behind Middlesbrough, although they have played a game more, and the gap to Huddersfield is 7 points, with the Lions having played a game less. It's not over till it's over. A good result of Blackburn on Saturday could make the last 14 games of the season very interesting. Team news: Rowett made one change to the side that beat Cardiff at the weekend. Bennett replaced the injured Afobe, and the team was Biakowski, McNamara, Hutchinson, Cooper, Murray Wallace, Malone, Clifton Beld, Mitchell, Jed Wallace, Burke, Bennett. And the subs were Pierce come on for Malone 82 minutes. Burry came on for Burke 27 minutes, and Saville came on the 89th minute for Bennett, and the unused subs were Long, Evans, Mahoney and Lovelace. So there you go, fantastic result. I would say QPR going forward, they played very deep. They kind of sort of packed the midfield, but it was packed, but it wasn't packed. It was spread packed. It wasn't packed in the middle. It's kind of condensed in a line, if so to speak. And they kept trying this kind of ball, a through ball to Dykes from sort of centre left midfield across to the right to Dykes to try and put him through on his right foot. They kept doing this over and over and over again. And it's like that was their only thing to do, just to do that. So are you playing football, or are you doing a pre-programmed set of moves that you hope will lead to a goal? Like, there was nothing organic about that. It's like literally, okay, do this, and then try and flick it through. And they did that about 6 times and didn't really get anywhere with it, because the guy was isolated up front on his own. The only chances they did kind of get was when they came down the wings and put crosses in, which they didn't do too often because they were trying to do this dopey ball through the middle to Dykes, which was like a semi counter attack. They were stuck in the middle and then try and move it around a bit, and then boom, put the through ball over the top. QPR, and as the game went on, you could see that this wasn't going to happen. They didn't really have anything else to do, and going forward, they had literally nothing. So much so that Bart Biakowski was kind of doing yoga in his goal. A little move, I think they call it downward dog. Basically, where your legs are straight and your arms are straight, and your ass is stuck up in the air. He was literally doing that a couple of times, like stretching himself out. Because QPR had nothing going forward, literally nothing. So let's get on to the now let's have a look at this table here, so you can see here. So we're 14th now, 43 points. We've got ourselves we got ourselves away from the bottom middle, which is where Blackburn are. So we were top of the bottom middle, and we're now bottom of the top middle, so to speak. We're back where we were beginning December, at the bottom of the top middle. If that makes any sense. And yeah, and that's what winning does for you. That's why everyone's gets the fucking hump with Gary around playing for draws, because that's what winning will do for you. You win 2 games in a row, and oh look, everyone's talking about playoffs again, which is stupid. Just take each game as it comes. If we get there, we get there. But trying to predict anything is just folly. Absolute folly. Let's just keep going game by game, see what happens. So let's move on to the manager's comments. So this one from QPR manager. So this is from londonnewsonline.co.uk. Appalling. QPR boss gives his take on Millwall's goals as West London club taste den defeat. Mark Warburton described Millwall's 2 goals as appalling in their 2-0 victory over the QPR, and added that they should have dealt with them better. Mason Bennett opened the scoring after a fantastic first-time cross from Scott Malone before Tyler Berry made it 2 with his first goal for the club. The Lions are 6 points off the playoffs 15 matches ago and won back-to-back games for the first time since October. Warburton said, 2 awful goals to give away from good possession, loose in the middle of the park and again loose in front of the dugout, and then they go and score. Appalling, really poor goals to give away. You look at Jed Wallace and Oliver Burke and Mason Bennett. I know Oliver went off with an injury, but they are a dangerous front 3 with pace and power, but we should deal with that. We have some really good quality, and tonight we didn't do enough. Tonight was Millwall's night. You lose a London derby 2-0. We didn't do the basics well tonight. I have a lot of respect for Gary's team and Millwall. They win duels and challenges. Direct balls that come into your box. They've got Cooper and guys with good deliveries. You have to do the basics really well, and we started off okay. First 10-15 minutes, but then started to lose duels and challenges. We gave away soft free kicks and they got a foothold in the game. We didn't move the ball as well as we could have done. We didn't have quality with the balls coming into the box. Did we do enough to win the game? I don't think we did tonight. Is it a fair result? I think it is. We never really tested their keeper until the end. That's what I said. But at the stage it's too late. You can't play if you haven't got the ball. You have to win those challenges. You have to earn the right to play football. Win your headers tonight. Millwall won too many of those and we didn't emerge with the ball enough. So there's the visiting manager's comments. Let's go on to the Millwall manager's comments. This is from Gary Rowett. This is from news@den.co.uk. Gary Rowett said Millwall's 2-0 win over QPR was as good a performance as he's seen in his reign. Yeah, it was. It was a very all-round team performance. If you would ask 10 Millwall fans for their man of the match who went to the game for their man of the match, you'd probably get 10 different answers. I mean, it was literally every man doing what they needed to do, doing it well, competently. Everyone working well together, working as a team. Really was a fantastic performance. Has he praised Tyler Berry following the forward's first goal for the club? Berry got the Lions second at the Den after Mason Bennett opened the scoring, and the host could have won by more. However, there was yet another injury scare as Oliver Burke was forced off in the 28th minute. Berry, his replacement. Jed Wallace was involved in both goals as Millwall moved to within 6 points of 6th place. It's probably as good as a performance overall that the team has put on since I've been here, Rowett said, against a very, very good QPR side that were found difficult to beat in recent years. They're a talented team. They keep the ball well and make it difficult for you to press them. They've got really good creative forward players. I think we started with them tonight in open play. I can't remember them creating many chances. We had most of the big chances tonight, and I'm a little bit disappointed in some ways that we didn't win by more than 2 goals. Yeah, Daniel McNamara's chance was, man, I don't know how he missed that. Well, I do know how he missed it. He hit it with the top of his foot instead of side footing it because he wanted to give it some welly, but he wellied it right over the bar. We could have scored after 2 minutes and a couple more after that. There was some big performances tonight. The frustration is we seem to count the cost after every single game with another injury. Oliver Berg felt his hamstring, which is just incredibly disappointing. We've had so many injuries this season. I think it's the worst I've ever known at the worst possible times. But it was a good performance all over. Jed's got star quality, we know that, and having him back in the team and back fit is a big thing for us. He shows 2 bits of quality. He peels out to the right. It's an unbelievable ball to Scott Malone and makes a great run. And Mason Bennett just reacts quicker than the defender. Lovely little cushion from Scotty. A great finish. Then the second one, Hutchie wins it, drives it out with the ball, shows a bit of composure, plays it to Jed, and it's a lovely little flick for Tyler to cap off what's been a really promising few months for him. But you then need to show that in a bigger part of the game. He hasn't had many opportunities. He's felt he's ready. He's come to see me about it, and he said, if I get the moment again, I'll know what I've got to do to score. It's a great finish. It's something he does all the time in training. He's got great quality, and I certainly don't think that will be his last Millwall goal. We felt we needed games just to show what he could do. Sometimes with young players, when they're impacting all the time, it's difficult for them to start when there are senior players in his way. He went out to Hartlepool and scored 3 or 4 goals, really high quality. There was an opportunity to bring him back. Hartlepool desperately wanted him, but I just felt he would have the opportunities this season. I think next season he will have a great chance to be a starter for us, but what he's got to show when he gets his chance like tonight, he's got to go and impact the game. He certainly did that. Yeah, he certainly did. Moving on now to this, more about Tyler Berry. He seems to be getting a bit of attention in the write-ups after the game. This is from londonnewsonline.co.uk. Millwall's Jed Wallace. I'm Tyler Berry's biggest fan. He's having himself in a good way. Jed Wallace was buzzing to see Tyler Berry, hoping his goal will count for Millwall, and loves the former AFC Wimbledon's attacking confidence. The 20-year-old winger scored the Lions' second goal in their 2-0 win over QPR last night, and Wallace, whose flick sent Berry through and goal, told Millwall's recast, "It's a great moment for Tyler and I'm buzzing for him. It's no secret around the training ground that I'm Tyler's biggest fan. I love Tyler. He's having himself, but in a good way. He's got that edge I like to see in players. I've always had a lot of belief in him. He needs big open spaces. Sometimes it's hard for him to show in training what he's got. When he can run at people, he's got that power and that pace. He took his goal really well." Wallace was also involved in the lead up to Mill's opener against Rangers, picking up Scott Malone on the left of the box as Mason Bennett broke the deadlock and deservedly put the dominant host in front. "That's probably the best I've seen us play for a long time," said Wallace. "We've had some good performances here during the gaffer's time, but probably not with the fans here. I played 250 odd games for this club, and when the crowd are on side at the Den, it's a tough place for the opposition. It's not electric enough for me this season because our performances haven't been good enough and we haven't got them on side here enough." Indeed, indeed, indeed. So I think that's it. Fantastic all-round team performance from Millwall Football Club's players today, and we beat QPR 2-0, and this is a QPR team that's 4th in the table. We now go to Blackburn, who are 3rd in the table, so that will be interesting. I think they might be 2nd actually, so that will be a big test, but don't expect too much because it's an away game and we're not very good at them. So that is it for today's video. Thank you for watching and goodbye.